How did you start working on this project for ASAFE?
Well, for someone to be injured at work and lose a limb seems pretty severe. The fact that it's not very well reported, or it's just hidden behind numbers, kind of doesn't convey the full emotional reality of the situation. And so I'm a big believer in the power of stories to bring about radical social change. All through my career I've looked at telling stories through about homelessness, radical extremism, things like that. A story puts a spotlight over an issue and packages it in a way that is accessible to a mass audience, in a way that stats and numbers, yeah, that's also relevant, but it doesn't tell the story for a mass audience. Similarly, an academic appraisal of an issue is not engaging for a lot of people. But if you put something in a story, particularly through film, that's really quick, really accessible, you can reach a lot of people and change a lot of hearts and minds by pushing on that emotion button.
Was it challenging to pursue the directors of the company to bring this idea to the life, the Amputee script itself?
No, I mean, they really believe in the problem that people face day to day going to work in industrial facilities is something that needs to be addressed, and it's something that the directors are really trying to change and solve. Part of that is presenting physical solutions, but it's also about changing perception of what an injury is. You know, people hear about payout figures and compensation and stuff, but it's such a bigger story than that. There's so much more behind it, like the impact on the family and your kids. Getting the ASAFE directors to back me in doing this idea and bringing this film to light and telling this story was no problem at all. They were very keen to do it, and you know, having the capacity to do it is something that we've really wanted to do for a while, but then finally having the in-house capabilities with the team expanding and bringing in the equipment to do it, we were able to pull it together, and yeah, it wasn't hard to persuade anybody to get on board with it.
When Lisa first time seen the script and you presented to her, what was her feedback about the full story?
Yeah, she loved the script, definitely at first, but I think the things that she loved about it, we ended up having to trim out a fair amount of it because the script originally tried to strike a balance between that upbeat kind of northern sense of humour that Lisa kind of embodies. You know, she's lost a leg, but she still makes jokes about, at least she only has to buy one shoe now. You know, so it's still maintaining a sort of light-hearted approach whilst getting across the severity. So you see it in shows, I mean, the type of British social realism that was in its heyday in the 90s and the noughties with like This Is England and stuff like Shameless, where it's kind of funny but kind of sinister, to try and strike that balance. But when we came to then shoot it further down the line, it felt a bit too slapstick. It felt a bit too like it wasn't quite working in the set, because the audience were making these jokes that were in the script and it didn't feel right, because it read okay and we laughed and we read it, but then when we played it out, I mean, you directed it with me and we worked together and we were like, this is not right. So we stripped out a lot of the lightness, and we retained some because it was important for the tone of voice, so there is occasional joke in it, and you know, managing that audience journey of emotions is really key to it as well. So we didn't want to make it all doom and gloom, but there's a severity that it was lacking in the script that we brought to the end product, that I think when Lisa first really enjoyed reading the script, you know, some of those jokes were probably taken out that she liked. So, you know, we'll have to ask her.
In terms of shooting and filming, I'm aware that I've been involved into that, but tell me more about those challenges, especially with the actors and the way how they were playing the script.
Well, the main bit that stands out for me is because they'd all just met, and you know, it's a short film, we didn't have a huge amount of time for loads of rehearsals and getting into character and things like that. It was a scene where they've just got home from the pub and their mum, it's the first time we see on screen the relationship between the mother, played by Gillian Waugh, who was brilliant, and the daughter, Lisa Philippa Cole, also played it brilliantly, but because it was the first time they'd met and had that interaction, it felt a little bit too like they were angry at each other, because although they're saying mean things to each other, that was kind of the warmth of their relationship, was in being a little bit rough with each other in a way, verbally. So we did quite a few takes. It was all mine, and both you and myself weren't really happy with how it was going. So I was upstairs thinking in the break how to do it, and we just scrapped it and we changed the situation, and we did a really quiet, calm scene with the gran and the son, and we've got everyone off set and we just sat and did that really calm scene. And then we went again in the afternoon, and it changed the shooting schedule, but you know, it's great that we were able to do that because we had built the time into it. And then when we went back to that scene and the characters had time to bed in, they just did it so differently because they'd had a moment of quiet between each other. So then to do an emotionally charged scene, and it felt very different then. And I think that was a big challenge, but for us doing it on the day to make that call when we were up, you know, you've got a schedule to meet and we were supposed to have got that scene locked and we didn't. That was a challenge. Also, I bet the actors found it hard because the first thing they had to do was kiss. we had the first scene in the pub where they were dancing and they had to do a kissing scene. They just met. They were great. I mean, they nailed it, but it must have been hard for them.
Yeah, and I think that this full situation which you're talking about also proved that this workshopping with the actors and the actress is very important to get from them the best really on the screen.
I think it speaks volumes that by the end of the week, the way that they were behaving on set with each other was so different to the start of the week, which you'd expect anyway, but with a short film and a small production, you don't really have time for loads of workshopping beforehand. But that workshopping kind of happens naturally as you go throughout the shoot.
Amputee fits to the bigger campaign called The Hidden Coast. Would you tell a little bit more about what The Hidden Coast is and what the outcome do you expect from this campaign?
The Amputee film itself is about reaching a mass audience because you need to raise that awareness of the issue. But then to translate that issue into practice, it needs a vehicle to speak to industry, so to speak to the people who are managing these industrial facilities where people are getting injured. It's one thing the public knowing, but we need the people who have the power to change it to get on board with it as well. Now, to bridge that gap, packaging that around a campaign, which we've called The Hidden Cost, because the hidden cost of these issues is on families and children, and there are many elements that the repercussions, as I say, the ripple effect of one injury is massive. So the Hidden Cost campaign is really using the amputee film at its heart, but then bringing everything else together, like the injury statistics that they're not buried, they're publicly accessible. A very small minority of people who are already caring about the issue, health and safety managers, they may be aware of it, but getting the people who will then invest in safety measures for industrial facilities to care about the issue, that needs that emotional connection added to all the stats and stuff as well. And so I think the Hidden Cost gives us that capacity to do that. And you've got loads of these long-running campaigns. I mean, in the UK, we've got like drink driving, which has been going for decades. But really, safety at work needs that vehicle. It is a big campaign. We've put the bedrock in place for it to grow now, and that's what the Hidden Cost can do. And the amputee film is integral to that, but there will be other people's stories. You know, lots of people are affected by their friends and family or themselves being injured at work, and the Hidden Cost gives a platform for those people to then unite and build a community and generate other stories and put it out there. In a way that we've shown with Amputee and Lisa Ramos's story. So I'm really excited to get that Hidden Cost package as well, to reach an audience that can then make change, really. Yeah, it's a very authentic film, and it's gritty, and it uses real life characters, and so with that in mind, it has quite a bit of swearing in it. But that also tells a story in itself. For example, with the son, you know, he starts off quite polite. By the end, he's dropping the C-bomb. See you next Tuesdays. And it's part of the decline of his character, and it's his character arc, but it also is the authentic way that people speak often. And so I think it matters to make it not a corporate video and make sure that it has that veracity of dialogue, that's in there as well. It's like sliding doors. That one moment changed everything for Lisa. And if it was slightly different and there was a barrier there, or the company had taken proper safety measures, then her life would have been completely different. And for her son and her family and everyone, that one moment didn't have to happen. I think the hidden costs can make people change their behaviours and change the behaviours of companies to invest in safety and prevent that in future.